So in another video, I explained how Cambyses died, and he died through an accident. He was kind of like standing up, and then his sword stabbed him in the thigh, and the Egyptians believed it stabbed him at the exact uh, s- um, spot of the thigh where he had stabbed their god Apis. Now, but by that time, Cambyses had been toppled. Basically, he was no longer the king of the Persians. Somebody else had claimed the throne, and in fact, Cambyses got this accident as he was trying to stand up and trying to put together his troops so that he could travel to Susa to go and face this person who had taken over the kingdom. Now, what had really happened is that somebody had passed himself as Madis, brother of Cambyses, and then claimed to have taken over the kingdom. But it wasn't Madis. Remember, in another video, I also told you that Cambyses had his brother Madis killed because he was jealous of him, because Madis was able to shoot from the bow that the Ethiopians had sent him, which they had told him it was so difficult to use that if the Persians could bring themselves to being able to use that bow, then that's the only time they should think of coming to Ethiopia to attack Ethiopia. Now, when Smartis happened to be the only person around Cambyses who was able to use this bow, Cambyses was not happy. He sent him back home. And while he was home, Cambyses had a dream that he saw Smarty sitting on the royal throne with his head touching the heavens. And he sent his friend Prexaspes to go and kill him. So Prexaspes went and killed him. But they kept it a secret from the Persians. So the Persians didn't know that Cambyses had his brother Smartis killed. Now, when Cambyses had left Susa, there's somebody had left to be in charge of the palace. We can call him a comptroller. This guy was called Petisiphus. So Petisiphus was a Magi. He came from a group of people called the Magus, who were like a tribe of kind of like magicians, and then they were believed to be very wise, and they always advise the king, and if the king had something that they need to be clarified, then they will talk to them. So he had left one of these people to be in charge of the palace as he was away in Egypt. Now, this guy had his own brother who also went by the name Smartis, and he conspired with his brother and other Magus, and they decided to take the throne from Cambyses by having his brother Smartis claim to be the brother of Cambyses. The brother of this guy who was left to be in charge of the palace to claim to be the brother of Cambyses Smartis. This Magi was aware that Smartis was dead, even though other Persians were not aware that Smartis was dead. So he took that as an opportunity to put his brother on the throne, and then he sent out messengers to all parts of the kingdom, telling the citizens that Cambyses was no longer the king. His brother Smartis was now the king. And one of the messengers was sent to Egypt. Although they didn't find Cambyses in Egypt, they found him in Syria, at a place called Ecbatana. So this messenger comes to Ecbatana, to the presence of Cambyses, and he delivers a message that he's been sent by the Magi, the guy who is in charge of the palace, to tell the troops there that Cambyses was no longer the king. His brother Smartis has taken over. And the messenger left after delivering that message. And Cambyses was confused, and he calls Prexaspes and asks him, Prexaspes, I thought I sent you to kill Smartis. Seems like you didn't. And Prexaspes is like, no, I killed him and I buried him myself. So I don't think what we've been told here is the truth. And rush and bring back the messenger before he goes far. And they question him, they ask him, have you seen Smarties yourself? And he's like, no, I haven't set my eyes on Smarties. I was just told. So then Cambyses concludes that that's not Smarties, his brother, but Smarties, the brother of the Magi, was in charge of the palace. So it is at that point that Cambyses was now getting up to rush to Susa that he got this accident of stabbing himself on the thigh, and then now he could not move, the wound became infected, and he realized he was going to die. Now he calls the Persian soldiers who are around him, and he tells them, you know, let me tell you the truth. I killed Smarties. Smarties is dead. So the person who is claiming to be the king at Susa is not my brother. That's somebody who is basically passing themselves to be my brother, but I know my brother is dead. So he tells them, you people should go back to Susa and avenge me. Have killed the Magi and his brother and all the Magus to avenge them, so that the kingdom does not move from our hands to the Magus. Apparently the Magus were part of the Mede tribe, and remember, the Mede is the tribe that Cyrus the Great had conquered, and he took over from them. So it was like now the kingdom was passing back to them, and that was not acceptable to the Persians. And so Cambyses is telling these troops, you people go back to Susa, make sure you recapture the empire, get it back from the Medes, the Magus. And then but here's something that happened. As he was explaining this to the soldiers, the soldiers did not believe him. Because they concluded that this guy is just saying this out of bitterness. He hates his brother. That's why he's deciding to tell us to go and kill his brother. So they did not believe him. They thought he was just talking out of anger because his brother had taken over whatever. So he was trying to poison the soldiers and the citizenry to revolt against his brother. So when he died. They did not take any step. They just went on, and Smarties, the imposter, became the king for a while. The next video I'll tell you how he was discovered and what happened after.